Welcome back to another episode of Whip Media TV. I'm your host, Whip Media Mickey. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do to the channel. Subscribe right now. Join the Vibe Tribe. And if you're feeling generous and want to leave me a tip for my hard work in editing, I'll leave the link down below. Let's get it. On today's episode, I cover World War Z, The Laws of Survival. Now, before World War Z was ever a Brad Pitt flick, it was a best-selling book. It tells the story of the zombie apocalypse as a series of interviews conducted by a journalist narrator. These interviews are taking place years after the zombies war ended, which makes it a unique telling of the popular genre. What really sets it apart from those other cheap zombie thrills is that it focuses largely on how individual communities and governments will react to such a scenario. It's almost more of a fictional sociology textbook rather than a novel, and because of it, survival lessons abound. Whether in the actual apocalypse or just a localized natural disaster, these are the lessons that anyone and everyone can start applying. Law number 1. It's not if, but when. Most people don't believe something can happen until it already has. That's not stupidity, that's just human nature. World War Z. It's been explored many times, the psychology of human nature that impedes most of us from embracing it and believing that bad, catastrophic things will ever happen. It was this type of thinking that kept people from understanding the reality of World War Z. People and even entire governments saw signs of impending doom, but nobody could really believe it, and so proper measures were taken far too late. Now, this isn't to say you need to become a hardcore doomsday prepper, but to go through life in utter ignorance will only serve to hamper any kind of future survival efforts needed on your end. Unexpected things happen every day. See, you probably won't encounter a zombie apocalypse in this lifetime, but the wildfires, tornadoes, and even winter storms seem to get stronger and stronger. Well, of course, knowing how to do something intellectually and knowing how to actually put it into practice in the real world are two very different things. Law number 2. Zombies don't care about your PowerPoint skills. To be perfectly candid, our supply of talent was at a critical low. Ours was a post-industrial or service-based economy, so complex and highly specialized that each individual could only function with the confines of its narrow, compartmentalized structure. Everyone was some version of an executive, a representative, an analysis, or a consultant, all perfectly suited to the pre-war world, but all totally inadequate for the present crisis. We need carpenters, masons, mechanics, gunsmiths. Surely this is a sign of society that has achieved technological progress, and yet there may be very well come a time when none of this matters. Even in small instances, like your toilet clogs, your car just stops, your roof pops a leak, your intellectual business-based problem-solving skills like knowing how to put together a PowerPoint presentation or market a new product aren't very much in help. Lacking the basic knowledge and the right tools to fix those types of issues, we often end up outsourcing them to blue-collar professionals. Having some basic blue-collar skills to complement your soft skills will not only save you boatloads of money in contracting work, it will come in handy in survival scenarios, particularly when it comes to rebuilding from catastrophe. Law number 3. Practice self-reliance before you need it. These were the people who knew how to take care of themselves, how to survive on very little and work with what they had. These were the people who tended small gardens in their backyards, who repaired their own homes, who kept appliances running for as long as mechanically possible. Not only will having DIY skills help you rebuild your community, they also greatly increase your self-reliance. Coupling basic mechanical things with ability to attain your own food, shelter, clothing, etc. ensures you won't be in trouble if the world goes to end or anything should happen. Self-sufficiency is something that men have strived for since the beginning of time. Thousands of years ago, it was necessary to be able to create shelter and hunt your own food. But we obviously lost the necessity in our modern age. Should the unthinkable happen, we will likely revert back to a time where such things were part of everyday life. Law number 4. Basic physical fitness is paramount. Make no mistake, bipedal locomotion was how most people traveled in the beginning. In an actual apocalypse, trying to get around in our gas-powered vehicles won't do much good. Traffic jams of stalled cars that are miles long will be the norm in every big city. And even if you could get through, America's infrastructure of roads, highways, and bridges is already nearing the end of its intended lifespan. Without repairs being a priority, our paved byways will become paths for traveling on foot. You best make sure you're up to date. Many people in our overweight society believe that being able to walk a mile or two is an athletic accomplishment. In survival situations, however, you may need to walk a couple dozen miles just to live another day. Law number 5. Relationships matter, even in the apocalypse. You spend most of your life reviewing contracts, brokering deals, talking on the phone. That's what you're good at. That's what made you rich and what allowed you to hire a plumber to fix your toilet, which allowed you to keep talking on the phone. The more work you do, the more money you make. The more peons you hire to free you up to make more money. That's the way the world works. But one day, it doesn't. No one needs a contract reviewed or a deal brokered. What it does need is toilets fixed, and suddenly that peon is your teacher, maybe even your boss. Human relationships get overlooked in the midst of apocalypse talk. Even though it's all fictional, take a look at the great post-apocalyptic media out there. The Walking Dead, The Stand, and World War Z. And one of the single greatest determining factors in survival is how you get along with others. You may be self-reliant and physically fit, but you can almost guarantee that there will come a time when you'll need the help of another person. Our jobs tend to have petty defined hierarchies. This should go without saying, but treat everyone, secretaries, janitors, security guards, doormen, in your office and building just as you would a peer. Just beyond being kind, those people may very well save your life someday. Law number 6. The latest and greatest technology isn't the greatest. See, technological advances are a fantastic thing. They provide entertainment, enjoyment, efficiency, convenience, and the list goes on. There's also a downside. However, particularly when it comes to survival scenarios, if we become too dependent on new technologies, it can hamper our survival efforts. World War Z, Laws of Survival.